Hi guys, I'm your famous, friendly, family favorite fantasy football guy, and I'm here to talk to you about this Thursday night's upcoming showdown slate between the Philadelphia Eagles and the Dallas Cowboys. I'm going to start off by breaking down some of these players, showing you the games from last year that they played against each other because we don't have a feel for this year yet at all, really. This is the first game of the season. I'm excited. I'm excited that football is back. But anyways, let's get started. I'm going to break down Saquon Barkley first off. So I'm going to click on him, and we're going to look last year in the second game that Dallas played Philadelphia. He got 21.9 points in that game. That's pretty decent. That's respectable. It's not one of the best from Saquon Barkley because he's Saquon Barkley, but that is a decent game for anybody. But if you scroll down, he actually only got 8.8 points in the previous game against Dallas. And I thought, looking at it, well, maybe he was hurt because that seems kind of low for him. And when I looked, he was not hurt in that game. He did, however, get hurt in the other game that he got the 21.9 points, but he was able to finish that game, I believe, with a fractured wrist. But on paper, it's a great matchup. The Cowboys were the 20th against the running back position last year, and they were 29th against the rush, according to DraftKings. So he is set up for an excellent game here, assuming that Dallas's defense is similar to last year. And now we're going to look at Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts, if you scroll down, I believe he only played one of the two games last year against the Cowboys, and he got 31.68 points in that game. So that's a great game for a quarterback. He did really well then, and I fully expect him to do similar this week against the Cowboys, who last year was ranked 32nd against the quarterback. And we're talking about Jalen Hurts. So the matchup looks outstanding. It looks great on paper. I'm going to move on, look at CD Lamb. So CD Lamb, last year, again, he only played in one of the two games. But one of the two games that he did play, he only got 8.4 points. And that is not very well for CD Lamb. I will say, coming into that game, he was hurt. He got hurt the week before. He hurt his shoulder, and that shoulder injury lingered throughout the season, so that really could have impacted that game. But overall, I think that the Eagles defense just dominated that game. His matchup on paper, not too great, but this is a new season, and the Eagles do have some secondary changes. They no longer have Darius Slay. They no longer have James Bradbury, and their defensive coordinator, Vic Fangio, is also gone. So I'm not sure off the top of my head who they put in that position, but it's going to be starting fresh for them. So they're going to have to step up to the occasion. There is a chance they can actually play better, but the two veterans gone, and it's probably going to take them time to get back there to that caliber. So that could bode well for the Dallas receivers. But I'm not going to be putting them in my lineup this week just because there's just not enough trust. Plus, Dak Prescott is coming back from an injury. I don't think that he played in the preseason, so that doesn't sit well for the receivers for Dallas either. But hey, it's a new season. They should be fresh, and who knows what could happen. This is the NFL. So I'm going to look at A.J. Brown now. He had, let's see, not as good of an outing at the second game. He had 12 points. I say outing, it was a home game. He had 12.6 points, fantasy points, which isn't stellar for A.J. Brown or any number one wide receiver, but he at least had over 10 points. He is in the double digits, so that's something. Now, the game before that they played, he had 18.9. More respectable, still not what I'm wanting from my number one receiver. But with that said, Devontae Smith, at least in that second game, did have 33 fantasy points. Now, the first game, he only had, let's see here. First game, he only had 3.4 points. Not good at all. Let's be honest. That's not good at all when you're playing fantasy football. But that second game, 33 points. I feel like he's going to be closer to that this week. I'm not saying he'll get 33, but I think he could at least get 20 points. Again, the matchup on paper, Dallas ranks 27th against wide receiver. Last year's stats. I need to correct myself. That was last year. Things are probably different this year, but I don't expect their defense to be much better, especially without Micah Parsons, because Micah Parsons is no longer on the Dallas Cowboys. He is now on the Green Bay Packers, the last I heard. So that does not help the Packers, that does help the Packers. That does not help the Cowboys at all. And since their defense was hurting anyways, but I'm probably going to be playing Devontae Smith in my lineup just because of salary reasons. He's cheaper than A.J. Brown, and if he can outproduce in this game A.J. Brown, then that will go well for me. I could instantly regret not playing A.J. Brown if things don't work out my way. Dak Prescott, I don't believe he played against the Eagles last year because of his injury. Like I said, he's probably going to be rusty coming out of the gate, considering he didn't play in the preseason. And the Eagles just have such a good defense. They were ranked 4th against the quarterback last year, 2nd against the pass, and 4th against the run. 1st against total yards, 1st against points allowed. You get it. I mean, they were good. So I'm not going anywhere near Dak Prescott in this, even though it's a showdown slate. George Pickens, I'm not even going to look at because we've already talked about the Eagles' defense against the pass. But George Pickens is an athletic player. He could come out and catch some balls for them. So let's see. Dallas Goedert. So he put up 10.5 points in the game he played against them last season. I do believe he only played the one game. Just double checking here. Yeah, he only played the one game against them. I think he was coming out of an injury as well. So he only played them the once, but he got the 10.5 points. That's decent from a tight end, but that's nothing super stellar from a tight end either for me. My own personal opinion. If we want to look at the running backs, Javonte Williams is now the running back for the Cowboys. He came over from the Broncos, which is my favorite team. And I got to be honest, I'm not missing him too much. I don't think I will throughout the season. His best outing was against New Orleans. He had a 26.1 point fantasy game, which was great, but his second best was 18.7, which is respectable but not outstanding. In the other games, he was just pretty much okay. Now, that could have been a Broncos thing. That could have been a him thing. Not really totally sure, but now that he's on the Cowboys, I guess we'll find out. But the matchup here is not looking good at all because the Eagles were ranked 1st against running backs, 4th against the rush, and their line is solid. So I'm not going anywhere near the Cowboys running backs either. They also have Miles Sanders. I guess you could maybe call that a revenge game, but I don't know that he's going to get any revenge because I just don't see the running backs doing anything tonight. But hey, it's the NFL. It's week 1. I could be wrong. This could go the complete opposite direction that I'm thinking. tight end for Dallas, Jake Ferguson. Just looking at what he did, he got 5.4 points against them last year. Not super great at all. I mean, from a tight end, if you're going to win in this, you need more points than that. The other game they played, he had, just double checking, he had 3.8, even worse. So that game doesn't look well for him either. The matchup, the Eagles were 9th against tight end, but let's be honest, just 3 points, 5 points, that's not going to be enough from a tight end. I don't expect him to get more this year, so I'm just not going to play him. You have Brandon Aubrey, great kicker, phenomenal kicker for the Cowboys. But against the Eagles last year, the second game, he had 1 point. First game, he had 7 points. 7's actually pretty decent for a kicker for a game, but the 1 point, not super great. I feel like he could get more in this game as long as Dak can get them in field goal range. I will say the Eagles ranked number 1 against the kicker, so that doesn't bode well for him. But Brandon Aubrey is a good kicker. Probably one of the best in the league right now, in my opinion. So that he could get points tonight. Jake Elliott, in their last games, he got 11 points against the Cowboys in that second game. And that first game, he got 10 points. So both games, their kicker getting double digits. I like that. And I think that I'm going to put him in my lineup. I think that could help boost your points tonight. Just below him at 6,000 salary cap, you have Miles Sanders. But again, I'm not playing any of the running backs from Dallas. I don't trust them against this D-line from the Eagles. Outside of that, guys, the only other positions I'm seeing that I really like is going to be the Eagles defense. The Eagles defense, they put up 19 points against Dallas in their last game together. 19 from a defense. That's good. 20 is even better, and that's what they got against them in Week 10. So you have 19 and 20 points against the Cowboys. Now, with that said, Dak was not there. Dak Prescott was not in those games. But, again, Dak is coming back off an injury, and he's probably going to be rusty. So, and just to tell the truth, I've never been a huge Dak Prescott fan, so I don't know that I am fully confident that he could handle the Eagles defense anyways, but I think he's a decent quarterback. I don't think he's a great quarterback. That's my own personal opinion. I don't want to upset anyone out there, but that's my own personal viewpoint. Outside of that, guys, you got the Cowboys defense. They look terrible in this spot for me. -4 points the last game they played with them. That's bad. And then on top of that, you have 8 points. 8 points is pretty decent. That was the first game in Week 10 of last year. 8 points is pretty good. Kind of. I mean, but from a defense, it could be a lot worse, especially against the Eagles. So that's not bad, but the -4, I could see it being closer to that, coming out against the Super Bowl champions. But sometimes the Super Bowl champions come out and struggle. A lot of times they come out and struggle, actually. So outside of that, guys, you're kind of on your own. You've got Tolbert averaging 8.9 points a game, but again, it's against the Eagles, so I would almost cut that in half. I don't even know if he'll get 5 points. You have Turpin, but you know what? Either of those guys could catch a touchdown for you, could win the game for you. Calcaterra, I don't think he's going to be a deciding factor in this game at all, but again, all it takes is a touchdown. You know, 1 touchdown from these guys, and this is a showdown slate. So somewhere you are going to have to pick somebody different, and there's a lot of chalk up here. So you're going to want to pick some different players. I'm just going to make my lineup here, most of it, just to show you where I'm headed with this. I'm going to put Jalen Hurts as my captain. I think he and I think Barkley would both be great. CeeDee Lamb, I think, could do really well, but I just don't trust all the factors in this game for him. So I'm going to avoid him. A.J. Brown, I may regret not picking, but for salary reasons, I'm going to skip him and go to Devontae Smith. I'm going to come down here. Goddard almost could make it in my lineup, but I'm going a different route. I'm going to put in the Eagles defense, and then I'm going to put in Elliott. I'm going to put in Jake Elliott and rock him in this game. That's going to leave me with 4,900 remaining salary to find another player. But anyways, I've had fun with this. I'm glad football's back. Hopefully this can help you guys break some stuff down for your lineup. And I'll be back to post for the next game. All right, thanks.